Can you mow your lawn with a brush hog? That is a question that I hear a lot, and I wanted to address it because a lot of folks on here are probably starting out on their farm or their homestead, and they're trying to figure out answers to these questions. And the truth is, a finish mower for your tractor could cost you an awful lot of money. So in this episode, we're going to be addressing if you can mow your lawn with a brush hog, and what's the difference between mowing your lawn with a brush hog versus mowing your lawn with a nice finish mower. One of the main differences between a brush hog and a finish mower are the blades and the velocity at which they swing the blades at. A finish mower is actually moving its blades a lot faster, and they're a lot sharper. When they cut the grass, they're doing a nice, clean, even cut. A brush hog more or less hacks. It's also swinging the blades at a high velocity, but they're big hunks of steel that aren't very sharp. They're not refined down to a sharpness. I've seen some people suggest maybe trying to sharpen the blades on a brush hog for mowing their lawn. I wouldn't suggest that. You're just kind of ruining the purpose of having a brush hog. The dense blades of a brush hog are able to break up things that would destroy a finish mower. There's a major cost difference between a brush hog and a finish mower as well. You could get a 4 to 6 foot brush hog for less than $1,000, and it can do the job very well. With a finish mower, you're looking at several $1,000s. The price difference is something to consider, especially if you're new to farming or your homestead and you're trying to figure out a way to mow large quantities of lawn faster. It's not like mowing a yard, that's for sure. Things like a push mower are definitely impractical. For some people, riding mowers are impractical because the mower mounted underneath the lawnmower is going to be hitting a lot of hills and bumps and things that you find when you're out on a farm versus a nice graded lawn. You definitely are going to have to figure out an alternative to your mowing habits when you're moving out on a large piece of land. To go out and buy all the implements that you need for a tractor to maintain that land is the difficult task, and versus buying a finish mower, you could buy a brush hog and a lot of other implements that you're going to use right away. When we started our property, we did not get a finish mower. In fact, we still don't have a finish mower. When I'm saying this, I'm actually coming from experience on mowing our lawn with several different methods. When we bought our tractor, we went to an auction and we got a brush hog for about $400. It's the Howe's brush hog. It's a very nice brush hog. It was brand new and we got it. It's gotten a few dents along the way. One of the things that I would recommend if you're new to a property and it has a lot of overgrowth, don't worry about the finish mower, get yourself into a brush hog. The first thing you're going to notice as you start brush hogging your land is that there are things that would hurt a finish mower because that land has been unmaintained for a period of time. You have brush, rocks, branches. In our case, we had a lot of stumps around our property. All of these things that are initially on your landscape are going to destroy a finish mower. A finish mower can't handle the task of breaking through large branches. It's made for the fine cutting of your grass. The brush hog is definitely a good first choice for new homesteaders or beginner farmers, people who are trying to establish their property, establish their lawn areas. I've also heard people ask, why do we mow so much around our house, or the 4 acres that we try and maintain on a lower grass? And that's part of our wildlife management. It's also allowing us to make sure that we're providing clean areas for kids to play in. It's really a preference. If you're not going to be mowing large areas, then this video is probably not for you, because you can do it with a riding mower or a garden tractor. We use a riding mower for part of our lawn. When my daughter mows, we don't allow her to mow on a tractor, so she drives our riding mower. The problem with the riding mower is that it does get stuck a lot. We have a lot of hills. It's just not made for this type of environment. By putting the brush hog on the back of the tractor, we're able to mow the lawn just as easily. We can mow it faster and cover more ground in a shorter period of time, even though we're only using about a 5-foot brush hog. The main thing when you're cutting with a brush hog versus cutting with a finish mower is that the brush hog chops and it lobs at things. The finish mower is actually slicing. It's got blades that are sharpened at the right angle. As it goes through, it's slicing those things. If your grass is a little high, the finish mower will actually pulverize the grass that you're cutting into smaller pieces. So you'll have less clumps of mulched grass laying on top of your lawn. If you mow when the grass is high with a brush hog, you're going to end up with large clumps of grass everywhere. And that is not good for your grass. The clumps will actually kill the grass underneath. Overall, mulched grass is a very good thing for your property because the grass falls down to the roots, it helps keep moisture down there for the grass, provides nitrogen to the soil, and it also keeps out weeds. You've probably heard a lot of people say if you want a weed-free lawn, you have to mow it regularly. Something that I have found when I mow regularly with a brush hog, so that the grass is only about an inch or two longer than I want it. As the brush hog goes over it, it's not having to mulch up big chunks of grass, but it does cut it. So I'm not leaving behind large clumps of unmulched grass. It's actually able to mulch it up, similarly to a finish mower. So one of the keys to using a brush hog is to mow regularly. Even with a finish mower, if you don't mow on a regular basis, you're going to get stockier grass, less thick grass. In either case, you should be mowing on a regular basis. And when the brush hog cuts the grass, because it's more of a chop than a cut, the grass, it's not going to have a nice clean slice. You're going to see where it's kind of ripped the grass apart. It's not going to hurt your grass. Grass is great for foraging on for animals because it can handle that constant kind of crunch on the top, whereas other foliage can't really handle it as much, which is why part of the reason why weeds die off. The other part of the reason why when you mow your grass on a regular basis, weeds die off is because of the mulched grass that's landing in the bottom. People who use collection bags to collect their grass clippings, they're not getting that mulched effect. They're going to have to use more chemicals on their lawn to keep them clean. Mowing it and just mulching the grass into the grass is a very natural way of deterring weeds, fertilizing your soil and your grass, and keeping things growing. The other thing that you'll notice with a finish mower versus a brush hog is just the sheer evenness of the grass. A brush hog, because it's kind of lobbing at things, you're not going to get a nice even cut across your grass. Of course, this grass was cut 3 days ago. If I cut this with a finish mower or I cut this with the brush hog, it's going to look about the same at this point in the growth stage. When you first cut with a finish mower, you're going to have a perfectly even lawn, but after a few days, it's going to start growing the way it wants to grow again. So that super clean, nice cut is only really good for a day or two with the finish mower, and then it starts looking no different than it would with a brush hog. All of this behind me has been mowed with a brush hog because my daughter's not here to mow it with her finish mower. It doesn't look any better or any worse than it does with the finish mower at this point, 3 or 4 days later. If you're starting out and you're trying to determine, can I mow my lawn with a brush hog, there's going to be so many people out there that say, no, you can't. It doesn't do a nice clean cut. It's not good for the grass. It leaves clumps behind. All of that is true to a certain extent. It all depends on how you're doing it and your own lawn and yard maintenance. If you're mowing on a regular basis, so the grass isn't getting too high before you hog it, then the mulch that you're creating with that brush hog will be small enough to go where it needs to go. It's not a bad thing to cut with a brush hog. And if you're establishing a yard, it's actually taken us, after going over areas of our property, about 2 years to completely remove all the things that would hurt the finish mower. So we're now getting to the point on parts of our property where if we wanted to run a nice finish mower over it, the yard is ready for it. It doesn't have the large branches anymore. They've all been pulverized by the brush hog. If we're mainly dealing with grass, any rocks that were up high enough to be hit have been hit and battered and broken by the brush hogs. Those are no longer as big of a concern. The finish mower, if it hits a rock, even a small one, you're going to put a dent in those blades. The brush hog has definitely kind of cleared the way for the finish mower. If you're getting into farming and homesteading, you've got a lot of capital that you need to invest, and you need to put it in wise places. The wisest thing you can possibly buy is a brush hog. A finish mower is more of a luxury item that comes down the road when you're ready to start making your grass super fluffy and nice to play on. And this grass isn't bad to play on. It's fluffy, it's nice, but it is cut in a more coarse way than we would have with the finish mower, which would give us a lot of that fine tuning. I hope this video was helpful to some of you who are out there wondering, can I mow my lawn with a brush hog? Absolutely you can. It is a lot faster than a riding mower. It gets the job done. I will say that another concern of mine when mowing with a brush hog is that if you do hit something, that brush hog can sling things at a very high velocity for several hundred feet. So number one, nobody should be outside when you're operating a brush hog, period. Number two, you want to make sure that you're turning in ways that you're not aiming the back of the brush hog towards your house. Rocks will fling, they will break windows. I've broken and cracked several windows on our house learning this by mistake. The brush hog is going to sling things a lot further than a finish mower would, and a lot harder than a finish mower would. So there are safety concerns to take into account when you're mowing your lawn with a brush hog. Make sure that you're doing it at safe times when nobody else is around, that if you're mowing by vehicles, personal property, the house, that you're doing your turns in ways that are turning the back of the end of the tractor does not turn into the house. So I'll usually come out our house, turn, go down, and once I'm far away from the house, I'll do my next turn to go back out. I won't actually turn around and go back the other way as long as I'm anywhere close to our house. That's just a common sense thing when you're using a brush hog. They do fling things.